Did you know that the loofahs that you buy in the store for your bath are not sponges from the sea? They are sponges harvested from a gourd that is grown terrestrially, so on the land. And this is that plant. So how did I get into loofah? Let me answer that. So when I was growing up, I was very into crafting. I loved crafting. I would always collect these magazines for crafting. I think it was a crafting magazine, and I can't remember which one offhand, but they had an article on loofahs, and it was a "Did you know?" Well, did you know that the loofahs that you buy in the store for your bath are not sponges from the sea? They are sponges harvested from a gourd that is grown terrestrially, so on the land. And this is that plant. So I saw that article and I was like, what? You can grow that? I'm totally gonna do that. Now, my dad, not necessarily so thrilled because it can be slightly invasive. They reseed, so if you have a gourd that you missed and the seeds are still on the ground, you'll get some volunteers for the next year. And you know, I tried hard to get all the gourds that I could, but there were a few that I missed, and so they had some volunteers for probably 5 or 6 years after I went to college. And when I came back for a couple of years, I was able to kind of take it up again a little bit, but not like I had when I was in high school. But anyway, I became obsessed with loofah in high school, and I researched everything I could, like every spare second that I could. I was researching loofah because I just thought it was such a cool thing. It has so many applications, and it's a renewable and sustainable resource for a cleaning scrubber, both for the home and for your own body. So now I'm going to show you real quick the loofah. It's not looking quite as pretty as it was when it's all lush and green with the blooms. Oh, so beautiful. And the bumblebees love the blossoms. And right now the moths are enjoying it quite a bit. But I'm going to show you how I harvest them. You're alright? He says, where'd you go? So I would use gardening shears, but I'm not exactly sure where they went offhand. So put that here. In years past, I've used a tote, a Rubbermaid type tote, and filled it up with water and soaked it, and then taken off the outer shell. So you don't want to harvest the loofahs when they are still green on the outside, like that one there. I hope you can see it. That one's starting to turn a little yellow, but I would say that's still too early. Okay, so that one right there is still too green to harvest the sponge inside. Interesting to note, one this size would actually be good for culinary use. When they're small like this, about 6 or 8 inches, you can use it like a squash or a zucchini. It is a member of the cucurbit family, and so it's used, my understanding is it's used quite a bit in Asian cooking, like I said, for stir fries and such. But if you let it go larger than that, then the fibrous part on the inside becomes too, here, let's go on this side, becomes too fibrous to be really edible. So one like this size would be a good one. And see, the ants have already started eating on that one. They say it tastes yummy. Anyway, but my preference is actually to harvest them when they're not all the way dry. It makes it easy to wait until they're fully dry, but my preference is to get them when they're like this color, or maybe a little bit more greenish yellow. Definitely more yellow than green, but when it starts turning brown, meaning it's dried all the way, it takes longer to soak it to be able to soften it to get it off of the sponge. And whenever it dries to this point, your sponge inside gets darker. When it's more like this kind of yellowish green color, your sponge is going to be lighter, and oftentimes the fibers will be a little bit softer. So the earlier / younger you pick it and harvest it, the more fine the fiber, and it can be used, the finer ones can be used for like facial exfoliation, more of a gentle exfoliation. When you let it go all the way to the fully dried stage, it's better for things like scrubbing dishes, or scrubbing tire wells, or heavy duty cleaning. You can still use it for a bath sponge, even whenever it's from the fully dried harvest. But if you're wanting, but it would be a little bit more of a heavy exfoliator. Now, having said that, part of it also depends on your variety. Some varieties are going to be thicker than others. The denseness of the fibers for the loofah are going to vary depending on, again, the variety and the growing conditions. What you find in the store is commercially produced and has been bred in such a way that they get the really thick walls of fiber. In my experience growing it, I haven't had any that are as thick as what I've found in stores. Now, if there would be a loofah of an interesting shape when I was in high school, I would save those too. So it doesn't necessarily always have to be your biggest and thickest, but always save the seeds to the ones that you like the best, so that you can plant those again the next season, and you continue doing that process, and over time, hopefully you'll get more characteristics that you're looking for more consistently with your crop.